Look at these oak trees, the brown ones. See how they look like they're dying? I have more. There's a couple right there, 3 in a row. They're a little bigger than them last ones, but they're still not really big trees. But they had brown leaves all over them a couple days ago, and now you see they've lost most of their leaves. They're oak trees. There's another one over there. And I have several others on the property that it's just been rough for them. You drive down the road and there's a lot of younger oak trees alongside of the road that are that way. They're just look like they're dying. Now, a couple of years ago, we had a pretty harsh drought, and several oak trees did this. Only they didn't lose all their leaves like this, but they dropped like half or more. And it was a survival tactic. When the rains came, they stayed alive the rest of the year until fall. But from what I've been told, this is also a survival tactic. What they're doing is going dormant early. Since they ran out of water, they couldn't survive. It was going to kill them, so they just go dormant like they do in the fall. And from what I've been told, these trees will come back next year. I don't know if that's true. I'm anxious to find out. Because I've seen them, like I said before, where they go partially dormant, like, they lose some of their leaves, but not all of them. But these trees, they've turned completely brown and dropped their leaves. And this is just the end of August. Now, yeah, we had about 6 weeks without a drop of rain here and temperatures hovering near 100 for over 3 of those weeks. So I can understand why they're doing it, especially when you consider where these trees are right here. The waterfall is just beyond them about 100 yards or less. So that's shallow dirt right there. There's probably not a whole lot of dirt underneath there, but I'm sure they got their roots down in a big crack in the rocks. But when you don't get rain for 6 weeks, it dries them out. So what is the point of this video? Well, it's just to tell you that if your oak tree dies or seems to die because of a drought, it may not be dying. It might be a survival technique. I've heard of this. I've seen it happen, but not so bad as this. But from what I've been told, they just go dormant early, like they would in the fall when it gets cold, and they come out next year like nothing happened. So I hope that's what happened. Otherwise, I'm going to have a lot of extra firewood right around here. And this one here, this is one that is doing what they did last year, where they lose a lot of their leaves, but they still have some green leaves left on there to continue making food until the fall. I know this tree is going to survive simply because I saw trees do this last year and they survived. But those other trees that lost all their leaves, I'm not so sure about. But people tell me that's what they do to survive. They just go dormant early, drop their leaves like it's wintertime. We will see. Here's another example of the same thing. This tree's leaves are all brown. I don't really see any green on there. And if it follows suit of those other ones that turned brown earlier than this, it will likely lose all of its leaves and, from what I've been told, go dormant. There's that one a little bit closer. You can see there is still some green in there. A lot of the leaves on the outer edges of the limbs have turned brown. They'll probably fall off, but there are still some that have got some green. And we did get a ½ inch of rain about a week ago. I mean, these trees were turning brown before that, but that ½ inch of rain might have been enough for this one to stop killing off its leaves and try to just gather a little more food before fall. We will see. This is unusual. Right here at the field entrance to the field where the snake was, where we got them 6 trees out of earlier this year, that is not an oak. That is a hickory. And that's a pretty good size hickory if you look at the base of it there. Probably 14 inches or so at the base. And it's split 2 ways, so the other one's only about 10 or 12 inches. The other one's 14 or 16. But it is doing the same thing. I don't know if hickories do that. It might be dying. It's only about half brown, half green. But you look around over there, you see I think that's an oak that's doing the same thing, turning a little bit brown. Unfortunately, it's been a dry year. It was nice and wet up until the end of June, maybe. It was wetter than normal up until about then. Then all of a sudden the rain just stopped. I don't know what that weird thing my camera just did, but trying to focus, I guess. Anyway, thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. We'll keep making more. Sawmill and firewood season's right around the corner.